Howdy folks, this is Donna Lewis with the Clark County Park District again, and today I am in the Mad River Gorge and Nature Preserve here on Dayton Springfield Road in Springfield, Ohio. So the Mad River Gorge has become quite the climbing place for many climbers in the area. The Ohio Climbers Coalition helps us take care of this area. So there's some great cliffs to climb here if you're interested in climbing. But the cliffs are also really pretty to look at. You can see some of them behind me. You can also see the Mad River behind me. So there's some of the cliffs, and we'll see some of those as we go through. I'm just doing a quick tour today of the Mad River Gorge. This is a great place to come. There are some stairs to walk, so it's always a good idea to bring a hiking stick or grab a stick on your way down. Wear good hiking boots, and if you bring your dog, just beware that we're still cleaning up this area, because for years and years and years it was kind of a dump site. So a few years ago or so, we cleaned up about 125,000 pounds of trash. Yeah, 125,000 pounds. But it is incredible now because of a lot of work of a lot of volunteers. You can see some of the stairs behind me that I came down part of those. We had a lot of volunteers through the Ohio Climbers Coalition and the Park District. Okay, so let's take a look and see if we hear any birds. They're being pretty quiet today, but it is in the 20s. It is pretty cold, as you can tell by the color on my face. So we're going to take a look around and see what we can find. Behind us, well, behind me, I did see some Mallard Ducks in the river. So lots of waterfowl in the river, but you can't see them this far away. All right, so let's take a look. So if you look really closely in the camera, you might be able to see the ducks. We have about 8 mallards out there on the river today. And if you come out here in March or April, so flowing behind us is the Mad River. And if you come out here in like March or April, probably March actually, pretty soon, you could see some migratory ducks moving through. Maybe mergansers, golden eyes, ringneck ducks. There's lots of different ducks that migrate through Ohio. They may not breed here, but they move through here when they're going back up north. And then again, you'll see them in the fall coming through, and they need waterways to stop at. So what are some of the things you might see here at the gorge? Well, since we have a river, if you're here in the spring or summer, you could see lots of migratory birds. So a lot of migratory birds there's a lot of them that like to go near the rivers. That's where they find a lot of their food. So a lot of our warblers, the prothonotary warbler, the parula, some other types of warblers would like it right here. But all year long, so you'll see them along the riverways a lot of times. Even our goldfinches, which stay here all year long, I've seen a lot of them feed near the river. And we do get swallows here at the river. They feed along the river, and we have some, I believe, bank swallows, maybe cliff swallows, nesting in the muddy areas that you can see behind me. You'll see holes in those. But all year long, you can definitely find our regular Ohio birds. So one thing that you can hear usually, and of course it's going to be quiet today, is the red-bellied woodpecker. So the red-bellied woodpecker has a high-pitched yell, like almost like a banshee out there, but it almost sounds like a primate of some sort. But the red-bellied woodpecker is a pretty large woodpecker, and we have 7 that occur in Ohio. The least likely that you'd find through here is the yellow-bellied sapsucker, and the most common would be the red-bellied or the downy woodpecker. The downy is the smallest that we'd have. The hairy is just a little larger, not as common. And then there's the red-headed, which we usually don't see here, but it does usually like more open areas, oak areas. So they are in the area, but I think not very many have been sighted here lately. But also the pileated woodpecker is our largest woodpecker of Ohio. So we have 7 species. The other is the northern flicker. Usually feeds more from the ground than on the trees like the other woodpeckers, and it's more brown and yellow. It's brown and yellow in color instead of black, white, and red. So, but along the waterways, you can see lots of different species. Now, I don't see any right now except the ducks. But another thing you'll see is the kingfishers out here. A really pretty blue and white and a little black on it bird with a very large head. You would think it could not fly, but it will dive down into the water to get its food. So lots of things you can see. Fox and other critters are out here too, of course. Some of our smaller stuff is hiding underneath. And of course, we've got some hibernators because it is 20-some degrees outside. Not everybody wants to be out in this. So they'll find their food when it's a little nicer out and save it for days like this. Our feeders, though, at the Interpretive Center were really busy today because they were trying to stock up probably before that storm. All right, so let's look around a little more. Okay, so behind me you can see the Dolomite Cliffs. They are dolomite and not limestone. So I'm going to lift this above my head, see if you can see it. This is one of our climbing cliffs. So you can tell which cliffs you're allowed to climb if they have the hooks in them, or you'll see little things to clip your carabiner into. So, and you can get on the Mad River Gorge site or the Ohio Climbers Coalition site to look for the routes that you can climb. So any of you climbers out there, I'm not one of those, but any of you guys out there that want to come and check it out, is a beautiful place to climb. And if you're a local climber, you probably already know about it. But another thing about these cliffs, we will give them breaks once in a while and use other cliffs because there are critters that live in the cliffs as well. So the snakes love to live in the crevices in there. Lots of different insects, spiders and such. Yep, they're important too, even if you don't like them. And bats. So we did have a study done here about some of the bats that live in our cliffs because this is perfect habitat for some of them. And then I'm going to go back here again. This is our path you can walk on. It's pretty, once you get down into the gorge, it's a pretty flat path. But again, getting down into it, there's either steps, wooden steps or rock steps. Part of it's also a trail to get down in here. But a climbing stick, especially climbing pole or whatever, hiking pole, I can't talk, is a good idea to have. So again, there's a river behind me. The ducks have been following as I walk along, but you can fish down here as long as you have a license. You can fish with a license. The only place you can fish without a license is at George Rogers Clark Park, in our park system. But you can fish here as long as you follow the fishing guidelines and rules and you have a license. So, but even on days like this, you can see some critters out here, but they probably knew before we got down here that we were coming because I was talking. So we're not seeing them right now. And a lot of times you're not seeing all those little guys that live underneath the ground. So there's mice and voles and all kinds of things living under the ground. Things hiding under the leaves, our turtles, our frogs, they're all hibernating right now. We know the groundhog's hibernating, right? Next week's Groundhog Day. And we'll see what the shadow tells us. Well, is that really true? Probably not. But anyways, we go by that, right? To see how much more winter we have. But come join us. Come see us at the gorge. It's a great place to hike. And if you have any questions, you can get on our website and message us a question at Clark County Parks, or you can call us at 937-882-6000. And we might see one other spot as we go along before I head out. Even though it's not sunny today, it's still really pretty out here. I'm kind of numb in my legs, so it's not too cold anymore. But it's still really nice out here to walk. And usually we have a lot more people out here. But it is the middle of the day on a Thursday, so people might be working. Well, we are at the end of our little tour of the Mad River Gorge. I know it was a short tour. You can see I'm right in front of the cliffs here. Now, coming up on February 16th, we will have a video with Dr. Ritter talking about what happens here at the gorge to make these cliffs, what happened a long time ago to make these cliffs, and he'll give a little geology lesson. So I hope that you'll join us that day, and it'll be on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So I'm going to give one more look out here. Well, that's behind me on the steps. So here's the steps to get into the gorge. And let's see, not to make you dizzy. So you can see that little outcropping right there behind me with the snow on it. There's a lot of those out here, and they're really cool to see. We have a ton of moss out here covering the cliffs and the rocks. In the spring and summer, they are beautiful, especially in the spring, covered with plants. It's amazing how plants can just grow right in those rocks. So I just want to give you a little bit more of a look. There's a river behind me. And of course we do have a highway nearby and a road up above so you can hear the traffic behind me. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. Now, none of the birds cooperated with me today. I thought at least maybe a red-bellied woodpecker would maybe say hello, but I got nothing. So sorry about that, but still really pretty to look at. So if you get a chance, come out to the Mad River Gorge and Nature Preserve, Springfield, Ohio, and give us a visit. Oh, and the snow is coming down. I love the snow. If it's going to be cold, we might as well have snow. So come and visit us. If you're a climber, you're going to love it. A hiker, you're going to love it. If you just want to come and take a nice walk, it's a great place to be. All right, until next time, everybody, stay safe and enjoy the outdoors. Bye-bye.